Hey, and welcome back to the It'll Be Fine podcast. I'm your host, Erica Bell. This is the podcast where I remind myself, as well as you, that everything is going to be okay. How are you doing? Just checking in. Things with me are good. Sorry, this episode is a little bit late. We've been dealing with some sickness. We've been dealing with family in town. So it's just been a little crazy. And then they've had some school holidays and it's just been busy along with my full-time job and all that. So it's just been busy, but good, all good things. I'm really, I'm really feeling amped up, really excited about the new year. I had kind of talked about that last episode about some, New Year's plans and, goals and intentions and all that. So I finally got to fill out, sorry, it wasn't last episode, it was a couple episodes ago. Anyways, neither here nor there. I finally got to fill out that packet that I had kind of showed on screen if you're watching, just with my intentions, my goals, some things for last year. It was so fun going back, writing out things that I was just grateful for from the past year. Which, first of all, I'm very grateful for cell phones, for phones that have cameras. Hello. Let me try to say that better. Any kind of smartphone I'm happy for. But it was so nice to be able to take my phone out, look at the pictures from January, and it just kind of jogged my memory of, oh my gosh, that happened last year, that happened in this month, and I'm so thankful for this, I'm so grateful for that. And the funny thing I think about doing that is that you very rarely take photos of awful days or awful things. So it's a really nice way to look back at your year and all of the good things that have happened. You don't really take a picture of yourself yelling at your kids or being pissed off at your spouse, anything like that. Now listen, you may have gotten like professional photos taken and the behind the scenes of like getting there and like the meltdowns and the arguments or whatever. But it's just a nice way to kind of really reminisce on the good things and brush off the bad. And it was just a really, really fun exercise. It's so interesting because it goes by so quickly yet extremely slow at the same time. It's just, it's kind of that weird, it's just an interesting thing. So some things that I remembered from last year, one thing that I was really excited about was my daughter learned to ride her bike last year. And it's so funny. My daughter is 5.5, and there's just so much that she's accomplished in her little life. So part of me is like, oh yeah, she's known how to ride a bike for longer than that. But then I'm thinking, no, that just happened. And she's just incredibly, just really gifted, really brilliant. And so she catches on to things quickly. And so it'll be such an adventure and such a blessing to be able to watch her continue to learn these things. So on that note, she made like a New Year's resolution at school, and one of that she wrote two. She has two New Year's resolutions for 2024. One is she wants to be able to write in cursive, and the other is she wants to help her mom with laundry. Which, okay, that's incredible. It's so funny. I don't know where she got these things. First of all, I never write in cursive. My actual handwriting may look like cursive because it is so sloppy, but I don't know where she got this idea that like that should be a goal that she should learn. First of all, she could probably work on her like regular handwriting, right? she's in kindergarten, but I just love that she again, I need to dig down and see where she realized, like, she saw that, because my husband doesn't write in cursive. Like, I don't really know many people that's their main motive of writing. It's not usually cursive anymore. And so I know that it wasn't, it's got to have been something she saw or something, because it's definitely not other kids saying, "Oh, I'm writing in cursive." It's just, it's such an unusual resolution, and it just tickled me. It just made me so happy. And of course, hey, helping me with the laundry, that is one thing. Both my kids really, really like to help with chores, which is amazing. I'm not saying that in a bragging way. I'm just saying that in general. Like, she wants to wipe down the cabinets, and even my son, he's 2.5, like, give him a spray bottle. Of course he's wanting to do those things, that's super fun for him. But or vacuum, they both are super into that. So it's like, that is great to have that kind of help. But again, so random. What is it about specifically laundry that she wanted to help me with? But that's good, because I feel like our laundry is just never ending. Even though I have systems in place, I'm like, shit, we just washed this, and we just, like, we were just here. What the heck? And sometimes when I get frustrated at those like mundane tasks like that, I will remember this thing that I read, or even the mundane tasks of one thing that I kind of get sick of doing is, like, I pretty much cook every meal for dinner every day of the week, pretty much, unless we go out to eat. And I kind of get sick of it, to be honest. I'm actually looking more into like food service, like meal deliveries or meal planning stuff, just something different, because I'm just kind of in a rut with that. Anyway, so I kind of get over it, but I when I was going back through pictures, I came across this quote, and it has like stuck in my mind recently, that basically talking about like laundry and cooking meals and caring for others is the foundation of pretty much living a dignified life. And so what a blessing it is to be able to provide a warm meal for someone, or clean clothes to someone, or and of course I'm butchering it. I wish I could pull it up. I'll put it in the show notes. But it's just such a nice way to kind of look back. It's just a nice way of framing it. And it reminds me of like the significance of what I do when I kind of shoo it off, or, especially like when I was a stay-at-home mom, and you're constantly doing those tasks and not much else outside of the house, of course, taking care of a child, whatever, but your sense of worth sometimes diminishes, because you're like, well, what am I really doing? And so it's just a beautiful quote to bring a new, wonderful perspective on it. So anyway, so back to the New Year's resolution. So her and I are on a roll. Okay. She decided she was going to learn to write in cursive. She's already helped me with laundry. And my dad has been in town, and he has good handwriting, and he does write in cursive. I want to say all the time. I can like picture his handwriting, but now I'm like, is it regular or is it, I'm pretty sure it's cursive. So anyway, so I was like, okay, Dad, this is like what she wants to learn. Can you help her with it? I thought this is like the perfect task, especially for like a grandpa. So they did it in her journal. And then the next day he went out and bought her like a cursive handwriting book. So it's super cool. So she's like, dude, I'm on it. Not, it's like the middle of January, and she's like wiping her hands. I've knocked my goals out. What's next? And I just love that attitude. So the other thing is, one of my goals was to learn how to French braid. Okay, so I've kind of made this a goal haphazardly for like years, right? I want to learn how to French braid. I don't do shit with my hair, nor my child's. And I'm just not gifted in that way. But I also haven't really taken the time to learn. Like, how many YouTube videos are out there that like slow it down and could teach me, right? So my dad was in town. His wife can French braid, and she can do it on her own hair and then someone else's. So I got to watch how kind of she did it on my daughter's hair, and then tried it on my own. And I'm like, I knew once I started doing it, it wouldn't be as hard as I thought, because in my head, I kind of knew how to do it. I just had never really implemented it, or never really had someone say, yes, you're correct in this manner. This is how you go about it. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Now listen, I want to be able to do like the pigtail French braids. I think they're so stinking cute. Have not even tried those, but that will be my next step. And I'm also not saying that I am good at this yet. Okay. So hear me when I say that. It's not like I have perfected my goal, but I'm feeling pretty good about myself in the fact that I'm like actually able to be checking some stuff off. So back to that workbook. So I've filled out the things from last year that I was grateful for, and then made my intentions for this year, my goals for this year, and then wrote down like the places we're going and kind of just what is on the calendar. And there's just something about putting pen to paper. And both my husband and I are trying to, we really want to like write down our goals together individually and as a couple. We've got some big things we want to do, and we're both like, why have we not been writing these down? We need to be doing that, because we know it's a step in the right direction to actually accomplish those things. So it just felt really nice to be able to do that, to have some time kind of to myself to do that brainstorming and just get in like a creative space, get in a energetic, enthusiastic, positive, motivated space. And I was really happy about that. So that's where I stand with that. So now, I just want to keep checking them off, and I'm just really excited. That's the other thing. Like if you like, that's a small goal. Like my braiding example is such a small goal, but sometimes you need something like that just to like get you going. Right. So I've said this so I have a YouTube channel for my organizing business. I also do some like travel stuff on it, especially like organizing for a trip, but a lot of it is organizing your home. And so I said on one of my videos for the new year, a lot of people have a goal to like get organized, right? Get or stay organized. And they come out the gate saying, yes, I want to just have my whole entire life, home, everything be organized. And then they fall short from that because it's such a big goal. So if you say to yourself, I just want to organize my junk drawer this month, and you can check that off, not only are you motivated to do more, but you just are like on a high. So I think, yes, I definitely have big goals that I'm trying to reach this year. And even that, like, I feel like maybe I could have even more. Like I want to be realistic, but I also want to, set some pretty big goals that I can just crush. But having those small ones too that you can check off, make you feel good about yourself, I think is also important. So even if it's, learning a French braid, send me your tips if you've got them. Just something small like that just to get you going. Anyways, so feeling pretty good about how the year is starting. I just know that this year is going to like zoom by just like they all do. Like what? I don't know. It's so wild, so wild. So we've got some big things coming up. My husband turns 40 this year. We celebrate our 10-year anniversary, this wedding anniversary this year. We're going to do at least one international trip. So just fun stuff that we are celebrating and have on the calendar. That's one thing too. Like when you write all that stuff down, even if you have it on your phone calendar, it's different when you write it down. You're like, you get to see something on one page. It's just different. So to be able to see everything we have going on is so exciting. And I think that's one thing that they say sometimes about like planning a trip, like the anticipation and the excitement leading up to it is almost sometimes even more exciting than the actual trip itself. So having things on the calendar, I would highly, highly, highly recommend. Again, it doesn't have to be some big international trip, but just anything, it could be lunch with a friend. That's another thing I'm trying to be. So my word, like I've mentioned, is intentional. So I'm trying to be more intentional with like my friendships, and which is nice. I've already talked to one of my best friends a couple times, and we're really aiming to connect more. And so I think just having things on the calendar to look forward to, it also makes like every day, like sometimes the mundane of every day more exciting when you have that something to look forward to, no matter what it is. It could just be like watching a movie with a friend, but it's just to have something going on it is fun. Let's see what else has been going on with us. So like I mentioned, my dad was in town. They come up from across the country, so they a lot of times they end up staying for a while. And so they stayed with my brother, and then they went and saw my grandpa up in Michigan, and then they came back and they stayed at our house. And my dad's wife is like an excellent cook, so that's one thing that, going back to me saying I get sick of cooking all the meals, to not have to worry about dinner. Oh goodness, it was such a blessing. I was so thankful for that. And just like exciting stuff that she was making, right? Like nothing, she's not giving her kids like cold tofu like I am and like some steamed veggies, right? It's like banh mi and just all sorts of just yummy, yummy things. So I'm so thankful for that. I just feel like I am seeing God's blessings everywhere right now, and it's just putting me on like such a high. I'm also still doing my prayer and fasting, so I've been really, really good about waking up early, and I've actually even like continued to push my clock earlier so that I have more time, because I kind of eased into it, right? I was still getting up early, but then I just found like I was craving a little bit longer of a time. So I keep pushing it back, waking up earlier, and I'm just really I'm liking having that time. Like I said, I do my devotional, and then I've gotten back to like doing more journaling, and I'm just writing out um, blessings and gifts, and it just makes for a good way to start the day. So last year I did a Bible study called like 1,000 Gifts. It's by Anne. Last name starts with a K, I think. But anyways, it talks about actually writing down the blessings in your life, and it could be anything, like last week before I got sick, my clients wanted to end up like working less, so I actually had less work, which usually would be kind of upsetting because the less I work, the less I get paid, right? But it was such a blessing because I was not feeling good, and it was such a thing from God to be like, okay, I'm going to give you less of a work day so that you can go and rest your body. And so it's things like that. Or let me think of just another anything, just a good day or delicious coffee. Or so I've gotten back to like writing those out. I'm like halfway done. I've for sure have had more than 1,000 blessings since I started it, but I just haven't kept up with all of them. So now I write them down. I keep some of them in my phone because I don't always have that journal, but it's just fun to do. And it's a fun way to start your day. So I would recommend something like that. And I'll put it in the show notes. Exactly what I'm talking about. There's a book that goes with it. There's a Bible study, all that sort of things. Yeah. So I'm just trying to really ride this wave of positivity as long as I can. And I know like attracts like attracts like. And, when you're more positive, if anything can go right, it will, that type of thing, and same as the opposite. So if you're just in a bad mood, it's just your things will continue to spiral. So I'm just trying to ride this happy-go-lucky wave for as long as possible. Next week, I will be heading on our annual cousins trip. So my cousins and I do a trip each year. It's my cousins on my mom's side. There's a bunch of us, and it's us and our spouses that go, and we pick a different place around the country. So a lot of them right now live up north. I live down south, but no, we're all just kind of all over the place. And so we decide on a place to go, and that's where we go. We've done Nashville and Austin and New Orleans. So this year we're going to Scottsdale. which is so odd. I'm going to Arizona twice in the next couple months when I haven't been to Arizona. I went last year. I actually lived there when I was really young, but other than that, like had not been there in a long time. So now to be going back so often, it's just interesting. But maybe there's just something about Arizona that's calling to me because it is a really neat kind of spiritual place. Like being in the desert like that, it's really, really neat. So if you have any fun things to do in Scottsdale, definitely let me know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's already here. Again, just time flying by, you know? So it's always the last weekend of January. That way we can always have it on our calendars, like fresh on our minds. It's like blocked off. So it's coming up. So, you know, just kind of getting ready for that mentally and physically. Obviously, I got to pack, I got to take care of stuff for the kids, all of that. And like I said, we've had family in town, and then my in laws will come in town to help with the kids. So we've just been busy, but busy with like good things. And I love being busy with family stuff. I truly do. You know, there was part of me and my husband had thought we almost took a job that would bring us more on like the West Coast kind of side of the country, but it would have just been us, like me and him and our kids. And as much as like we truly do want to live somewhere that has more seasons and like get snow, and you know, even though it's freezing here right now in Florida, but true seasons, snow, all of that, I was also feeling such a blessing this week when I was having to just kind of deal with my kids and all their winter stuff and like getting them in and out of the car and to and from church and all this stuff. And it just like, it adds that layer of difficulty. I was like just chuckling to myself at like, okay, God knows what's best because I so badly am drawn to a different climate, but it's not the right move right now. And it wasn't the right move when we were thinking about it before. And that was just a reminder of such a blessing. But also, like, we, especially having small kids, living by family is so important to us. We are a couple hours from his family, or a couple miles from my family. Some of my family, at least. Like I mentioned, my dad lives like on the West Coast, but it it just is, it makes a world of difference, and we just love our time with family. So for now we will definitely stay put. And again, we love doing family dinners, and that's such a fun way to like break up the week. And so yeah, we've been busy, but busy with good things, fun things. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to continue to just kind of ride this little positive mindset, positive mood that I've been in. I'm happier when the weather's cooler, so that definitely has helped. It's cold right now though. Like it was like in the 20s this morning, which is crazy for here, but I'm loving it. So definitely not complaining about that. Yeah, so off to a good start. I hope that your January is also off to a good start. If you have accomplished any goals, let me know. I want to hear. I want to hear all about it. Or are you kind of the opposite? Are you starting the year on not as much of a positive note? How do you get out of that kind of funk when you're in it? I want to hear about that and anything else that's going on. I want to connect with you. So stay tuned, and I will talk to you very soon.